with Natasha, and I am here as a medium, and I'm a psychic medium, uh, intuitive medium, whatever you want to call me, as I can do a lot of readings for people. And I'm grateful to be here. So welcome, welcome. And each week on Wednesday, I'm going to try to be here on Instagram. I'm going to be live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So I'm trying to make it more aware of where we are in life. And I'm always here to help people. So welcome to Instagram. And I'm going to be on Instagram on Wednesdays when I don't have any guests. So if I'm not here, you can catch me on YouTube, Natasha Venter. And I am here to help you. I know a lot of us are struggling right now with life. And COVID right now is just taking over. And it's amazing that it's more than a flu epidemic in a way. And, I work at a place part-time that is where, I interact with different people, different age groups. And, it seems like it's hitting pretty much everyone. And I'm hoping everyone stays healthy. That's my first wish. And if you catch my posts weekly on these different platforms, no, I don't post on YouTube daily, but yet Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and MeWe. And I also do LinkedIn. I'm thinking about trying to go to Pinterest, but yet at the same time, Pinterest seems to be sliding down, and I'm not too sure yet if I want to go to Pinterest. But I love to support people going through life situations. Now, I am not a medical intuitive, yet I am a medical intuitive because I can read bodies and stuff like that. And so with that I do get a sense of what's going on. When I do my mediumship, I can tell how somebody might have passed. I also, because of my skills of my intuitiveness, I work with a lot of different navigations. And so with that as I go forward in life, I am far from being a doctor, yet my dad was a chiropractor. So I grew up since the age of 3, my dad going through chiropractic school. And he always came home and practiced on me. He always communicated with me about what he learned about the body, how to interact with the body. I also did a lot of muscle testing via him because sometimes his clients, there was one time where the client was a little bit too old and I would muscle test. And so I've grown up with understanding the body's energy since pretty much day one. I enjoy working with the body's energy, and guess who lets me practice on it is my body. And I know that I've had different shows about communicating with your body and things like that. And it just seems like this new year was a good year for me to hone in on people, hone in on what is happening, because of the fact that our bodies, many a times, and that's what the conversation is going to be about today, is our bodies and how it's communicating with us. That many of our bodies are telling us that it's not handling what life is giving it very well, right? So with that I am wanting you to know that your body is a temple. It's part of its navigation of living through this lifetime. Now, a lot of people abuse this thing called the body. A lot of people, I grew up with being told from my mom used to be in garden clubs. And she was sometimes the youngest one in her 30s when, there was 80-year-olds. And I used to listen to them. Being an only child, I was able to listen to a lot of adults because I was taken to a lot of places where there was adults that our bodies, how we treat them when we're younger is how they're going to feel when they're older. It's kind of the language that I kept hearing. Well, some of us are a little bit on the older side and we can't go backwards in time. Yet, starting today, we can treat our bodies better, right? Because they're yelling and screaming at us sometimes. our hurt knees, our hurt elbows, our hurt wrists, our head hurts all the time, our headaches, our shoulders and our back aches. And a lot of us have lower back problems and ankles and knees, toes, whatever's they are, that it's screaming at us now. Joints, our joints. What I want to tell you though is that every part of our body has a meaning. Every part of our body has a meaning. And those meanings can represent what our situation, our emotions are working through. And many times when we have surgery, that's the extreme of when our body is saying, I'm done, cooked and done with all that stuff that you're making me go through in that facet. Because a lot of us are going through all up here in our upper chakras, and we're not even thinking that we have lower bodies. And I've known several people, have witnessed several people that they're basically non-existent. Their lower bodies aren't attached to them. Well, part of it is that our digestive system is about digesting our life, right? And okay, so I want to make sure though, I'm going to do a little side commercial here, that this is just a statement that I'm making of an awareness that I have. It's my intuitiveness, it's my body knowings, it's my life coaching awareness that I've had as I've walked, and like I said, walked with my dad and other teachings. So if you have a different perspective, if you have a different belief system, if you have a different knowing, I want you to honor that. But maybe if you can just have a moment of check-in to see what kind of perception that this can just shift your perception a little bit. Because I don't want you to stop going to a doctor's. I don't want you to stop taking your medicines. I don't want you to do that if it's not right for you. Because the fact that sometimes our bodies need those medicines. Sometimes our bodies need that support system. Because we chemically somewhere missed out on those things that make our brain cells, connect with those other brain cells. And that medicine helps that to happen. So I'm not trying to fault anybody for having, let's say, taking some kind of medicine, whatever it may be called. But I want you to, if you can, take a look and look a little deeper. Look a little deeper to why things are yelling and screaming at you. Okay, so I'm going to take a synopsis here, or an idea here. Okay, like this morning, I woke up and I had a headache. I routinely have headaches. That's my body's go-to is a headache. Well, I also know that I have Aries in my planets, and I have 2 Cancerians. So Aries rising in Cancerian, sun and moon. Okay, so that means that, but Aries deals a lot with the head. And so with that when you have a sign, this is one facet of it. If you have a sign, if you do astrology, and I would suggest you connect with an astrologer. Okay. And if you're looking for an astrologer, I have a really good one. I have actually 2 that I can give names to you for whoever aligns with you. That as we go forward, that when you find out more about what your signs are, you can see how that affects your body. Like me knowing that I have Aries in me, and the head is attached to the sign of Aries, and that the planet that's attached to the Aries sign, yeah, got me there. I didn't do my homework here. That also has some interactions with the body, right? With me waking up with a headache this morning, the first thing I checked into is where is it coming from? So the first thing I'm going to tell you here is communication. Communication with yourself is key. Now, not everybody's intuitive like me. Yet at the same time, though, if we really take notice and we get quiet for a second and we ask the question, headache, why are you here? The first thing I heard was energy. Big energy shift. Okay, so yesterday, the date was January 11th, 2022. So 111 is very big number. And then you add the master number of 22 year. Well, there was a big energy shift yesterday. And remember when energy shifts, many times that our heads, there's a lot of energy that comes in through our upper chakra. Okay. And some of us are very sensitive to what is going on out in the planets. We may not know it, but a lot of us are saying, I want to go home. And they don't feel like home is this planet, which means that those planets out there are navigating with you. Okay. So when you're talking about astrology and you're talking about some of these networkings here, I want you to think about why that your physical body might be aching as you're going through life. Now, for me, I am really affected by the planets. I can tell you when there's a full moon and new moon. I mean, my monthly cycle would switch within a year 3 times over, going from full moon to a new moon to a new moon to a full moon, just because that's how affected I am with the planets. So I know when there's big energy shifts going through. That makes sense. Okay. And then this morning, as I was waking up, and now my head usually hurts when I'm first waking up. And that's part of me coming back into my body, spiritually wise. My soul has done some work. My higher self has done some work outside my body. And so for me, coming back down into my body with my body, because I can tell you that my soul is bigger than my body, that as my soul comes back to my body, many a times there's that evolution or the reconnection that it kind of goes, and it's like trying to get an oily machine going again, right? And the head, being the connector, is one of the first ones to try to fit into this whole new networking, right? Because my soul has gone through an upgrade and my body has been trying to rest. Well, I can tell you, lately, my sleep has not been restful. So my body, my pillow on my neck and my pillow, and a lot of that networking has not been an easy process. Not an easy process. So for me, waking up with headaches, it's kind of a given. Now, I know today was one that usually I can get rid of them with talking with the energy and navigating with what's going on. I can usually get rid of them within the first half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, hour and a half. This one I still am feeling, and it's right here and it's right here. And I'm fine. I'm fine. I know that. So I have an understanding that when a headache, when I do some work. Now, I was listening to someone who's talking about some energy this morning. And so I was playing around with my energy. So I might have forgotten to shift the garden hose, I'm going to call it, because many of us with our upper chakra, our 7th chakra, we walk around with it either closed off or opened up, right? And if it's opened up too much, it's like a garden hose or a fire hydrant hose coming down and over us. So that's energy from the heavens, from the star beings, from the stars, from Mother Earth, even because it circles, because we have this energy that circles up and around us all the time. And it's part of the energy system of Mother Earth. Okay. So as it circles up around us, if our 7th chakra is wide open, it's going to be like a garden hose, and too much energy comes in, right? Okay, so playing with that energy, even just putting your hands over your head, you can feel this. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'm kind of revitalizing what we're talking about because we're coming in this new year. There's a whole bunch of new energies coming in, and we're going to be getting tons of downloads. Now, downloads energetically are where it's like the universe says, okay, time to have a computer update. That's our body and our energy fields around us that are getting them. And so with that as we're going through life, we get these downloads. And that's sometimes when we get headaches. And you can tell sometimes when a headache is different. So like if it's your third eye, you'll feel it across here. And sometimes that's when we get the sinus problems. So our third eye is pretty much clogged up. Okay. Or if we're getting the headaches through here, that's usually our crown chakra, right? Now, if it's coming up from the back side, that's coming from our shoulders. Probably our shoulders are up over here like this, going like this, right? And so lowering ourselves down can help release. Now, I know for me, a lot of my headaches come from my shoulders, and they come up and over my head, and they affect my eyes. And I call them mock migraines because they're not necessarily migraines, even though I can't see necessarily and that kind of stuff. But there's not a lot of pain with them anymore. It's just a total discombobulation of myself. I'm emotional. I've got all the side effects of a migraine without having a lot of the pain now because I've communicated with my body enough that I say, please, can we loosen the pain? So the teller today, so having the headache today, okay, that I also have an understanding through patterns, because I do a lot of research with my patterns, because my body has told me that food is going to be a scenario that we're going to negotiate with this lifetime. Okay. There's been food that has not wanted to go down my throat because of the fact that so many lifetimes, past lives, and I believe in past lives. If you don't, I apologize, but past lives that I've been poisoned, killed, strangled, whatever you want to call it, going down the throat. Okay. So I came into this lifetime understanding that a lot of things weren't going to go down my throat. I still have a hard time with smoothies, and vitamins I'm getting better with, but I still have to eat them I have to still swallow them with food. As I'm getting ready to swallow food, I still throw a vitamin in, and it goes down with my food because things don't like to go down my throat very well in that sense. So with that as I'm going through forward, that I'm noticing that certain foods are causing certain scenarios. And I just went through a scenario where I couldn't have anything with vinegar. Do you know how many things have vinegar in them? I can tell you I was getting tired of eating a dry hamburger. And no, I don't like avocado. That's another thing I don't like. that texture is not mine. So I didn't use that as a liquid for my hamburger or salads. Sometimes honey worked with certain salads, but taco salad with honey just didn't work very well. And I cannot eat dairy, so sour cream is out. Okay. So with that there was some scenarios that I've been going through. Well, guess what? I'm really noticing that how meat is processed is how my body's accepting it. And I had chicken last night. And I'm noticing that chicken is not settling quite well in this upper atmosphere of my body. And I start getting this kind of it's feeling like a toxic headache, just not quite right. It's just kind of where you just kind of feel like there's this raw little ache behind everything, and you can't really decipher where it's at. Well, those I feel like are more where food or something that you've done has not settled well. And so if that kind of helps you out with headaches a little bit, that there's different ways that your body can talk to you. And I also know that this was food because I'm kind of a little bit off body wise too. My neck and shoulders are a little bit more stiff or puffy. I'm feeling puffy. That's a better word for it. A lot of different places in my body are feeling puffy because of the fact that I think I ate something that wasn't quite right. And there again is something that I would suggest if you are starting to feel not right after something, I can tell you our bodies are coming up to a different vibration. And so if food that used to be our go-to is not settling well, I'm going to tell you that check in to see how it's made or processed. And that might be the key to being able to eat it or not. Or check in to see that if it may not be your soul food anymore, the food that makes you feel good anymore. I know my soul food has changed over about 15 different times, even in the last 3 years. Because the fact that my body just said, not anymore. Now, I'm honestly not starving here. The one thing I'm really checking into, though, is that now that I'm talking about my digestion, see how the headaches floated down into digestion. Well, the digestion, well, for one, how are you digesting your life? Ooh, many of us are struggling in our lives, right? Many of us are struggling in our lives. And one thing that we're working on is how to negotiate our life. Well, this morning, I felt like that things were kind of not digesting very well, right? So I just lightly massaged my intestinal area, my upper diaphragm, going through and just massaging a lot of going around. And I try to do it a little bit. Sorry if I burp a little bit here, but there we go. That it gets things moving. But as I'm doing that, I'm saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I can tell you that after I politely, softly, respectfully worked on my digestive system, that guess what? Things were starting to feel a little bit better. I actually felt movement in my digestion system. My headache actually lessened a little bit because I was waking up some of my tissue and my digestive enzymes and a lot of my gut. It helped things move through my gut because sometimes many of us we don't move enough, and our organs want to be worked together. They massage each other to get themselves working together. And so a lot of times when we're stagnant, not moving, and I know for us in the Northwest here, it's starting to be winter and we're not moving around as much, that our bodies feel that. And it's not just our muscles that are getting out of shape. It's actually a lot of our gut system is getting out of shape. And a lot of us have struggled going through the holidays and going into this new year about having high expectations for this year. And yet, are we going to be able to have the year of great abundance? Possibly, if we're willing to do the internal walk. And that's going to be the key. If we're able to do that internal walk, we're going to be able to find that we can do this. Well, having our digestion system working better helps us digest our lives. There's that metaphor. Am I digesting my life? Am I digesting my life? Am I digesting my life? And if I hear the first thing that comes out of my head, my intuitiveness, am I digesting my life? I go, yeah. So as we're going through and going forward and processing our bodies, managing our bodies, are we drinking enough water? Are we drinking enough water? Now, that's all I drink, besides if I have tea. And sometimes if my body says, I need some orange juice. I need some orange juice. I've been trying to take enough C lately. And so I'm hoping that I'm helping my body navigate some of the need and call for that. As I'm working through and saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, there's parts of my digestive system that kind of went, yeah, I'm kind of having a lazy day today. Can you imagine your digestive system having a lazy day today? Well, I can. But saying, oh, can we move? Can we do? Can we work? Can we love? Can we negotiate this? Can we negotiate this? And I know a lot of us are dealing with heartburn or a part of it not even coming down. And so right here, right where the rib cage comes down, if we take it and go where our fingers are together and we spread along the bottom of the rib cage, we spread along the bottom of that rib cage, not hard, we just spread that apart. A lot of times that helps our stomachs navigate. And I can tell you that when I navigate doing sometimes this motion, I notice that there's something that is shifting in me. And it's feeling first, but then it's like, oh, but it's that feeling of just that movement of going to better. Because sometimes our stomach and our diaphragm get out of an alignment. Things get shoved over one place or the other because of something going through kind of weird. And if we align ourselves a little bit, then that energy can come down. Hi there on Instagram. And so with that as we're going through life and managing our life and finding the purpose of what our body is trying to tell us, a lot of times we can negotiate our life better. Now, I can tell you that I came home from working and I was going to grab leftover food and I heard no. I heard celery and peanut butter. So with that there's a lot of times when we're going to grab a food, and I'm talking about our digestive system here, going to grab food that is out of habit, but we have this feeling, and everybody's going to feel this differently. So I want you to have your own language with this. But there's this feeling of this isn't right. This isn't quite right. Well, as I was grabbing from last night's dinner, well, me intuitively, I heard celery and peanut butter. And not everybody's going to feel that, but if you feel something's not quite right, then take a look to see what else you can eat. And when you feel that upperness, when you feel that lighterness come over you, know that as you're working through feeling better and working through something that your body's wanting, because food is vital for our bodies, right? So if we eat something that our body wants at that minute, now it can eat basically dinner last night, maybe I can eat that for breakfast tomorrow or later. But right now my body wanted something and it was called celery and peanut butter. Now I don't get like the cheap peanut butters. I get the organic where you have to mix the peanut butter up, and then I mix in local honey that crystallizes, from beekeepers, because I grew up on good honey, and so for me, I can't buy just the store honey. That's it's alive still, but it's not really well. I like that honey that's crystallized, and I mix in the honey with the peanut butter that you still have to stir, like the Adams peanut butter, and there's some peanut butter from other parts of the world that you can get that's more separated. And so I'll mix up that peanut butter, because if you mix honey in with your peanut butter, it doesn't separate anymore. There's a little trick for that. And guess what? Since I'm not able to eat a lot of sweets because of the fact that I have tree nut allergy, and I don't even, and then I can't eat corn either. So there's a lot of things with corn syrup in them. That's all the hard candies that I am, where peanut butter and honey is my sweet. That's my sweet. And yes, I can eat peanut butter even though I'm allergic to tree nuts, but some people are allergic to both. Some people aren't. I'm not. So with that when we're working with our life and going through our life, many times we're kind of life blah. I don't want to call it life dead or mind dead or whatever you want to call it, but it's that kind of that process where we get stuck on routine And our bodies and our food stays the same, even though our body is going, I don't want to eat it anymore. No, don't feed that to me. And then afterwards, we feel like crap. We feel like crap again. And we wonder why we're feeling puffy and achy. And so if you can, start writing a diary of what you're eating and see what's happening. Now, like for me, I had some chicken last night, and I'm noticing after chicken, I don't feel quite right the next morning. I feel off. A little headachy, a little puffy, a little achy. My joints are a little like today. It's like I moved my neck and it was like pop, pop, pop. But it was like, it wasn't, it was like it was stiff. So my body is telling me to be kind. Now, I was thinking that the same way with hamburger too, ground beef or red meat, until I got some uh, hamburger that was from a local farmer, and I had no problems with that hamburger. So that means that my body is not enjoying the integrity that a lot of animals are being handled with. That's pretty sad how a lot of animals are not respected even if they give their own lives. So with that as we're going through life and managing our life, looking at how our bodies are trying to talk to us. Now, every body part has a meaning. So like our shoulders, if our upper back, lower neck, upper back area is hurting, how many people are we supporting? What are we supporting that's not ours? If our knees are hurting, how are we afraid of walking forward? Because that's about the flexibility of moving forward, walking forward. How many of us have been having hip replacements? Well, how are we feeling stable in our lives as we're making different choices, right? So one thing that I love this book here, The Secret Body Language, and it's by Ina Siegel. Trying to do this so both Instagram and I love this book. Louise Hayes also has one that Your Body, I forget what it's called. I don't know if I have it up there anymore. But this is the book that sang true with me, and you can get this online, I think. I don't know. I've had it for quite a while, so I don't know but so with that I love the way that it so like a lot of us are having fibromyalgia, right? Well, that's our nervous system, right? So with fibromyalgia, so some of the possibilities for a nervous system, possible contributing factors for your nervous system going awry, okay? Hitting a raw nerve, feeling attacked or under a threat, holding on to shame, guilt, embarrassment, constricting the nervous system by worrying about the future or being stuck in the past, pushing, straining, fighting, struggling, feeling nervy, edgy, tense, anxious, experiencing the lack of balance, rest, or relaxation, overworked, overcommitted, and pushed to the limit, looking for an adrenaline rush or some kind of excitement, prone to addiction such as cigarettes or other drugs. So with that our nervous system has reasons for being, if we're always in fear and flight, right? Pushed, attacked, under threat, and it's always tight, it's always struggling. Well, guess what? It's going to cause problems in our body. And people who are always on that adrenaline kick, like for me, I noticed that my adrenals, I was having a hard time having energy. I was just low. My husband was even saying, would you get up and do something? And I'm like going, I wish I could. Well, my adrenals. Well, I'm going to tell you that I've had with living with an alcoholic for 20 years of my 30 years of marriage, having my parents pass away, having kids at the same time, living through life and managing all the day in and day out work of all those personalities of well, I have a stepson, so I had to deal with an ex-wife who didn't really like me at the time. Now we're good, really good friends. Healing can happen. I know. I'm very grateful that as we're walking forward, that my adrenals kind of got stuck on go, 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 go. Well, they kind of said, I'm done, cooked and navigated. So with that I started taking some medicine or some I go to a chiropractor and she has some really good vitamins. And so I started taking some vitamins to help my adrenals out, my adrenal glands. And adrenal glands, if you understand a car, like a car, it has a battery and an alternator. And the alternator triggers the battery to keep the car running, right? Well, many a times our adrenals are the thing that triggers our body's energy to start up or to get moving. Well, when our adrenals are stuck on, it's like our alternator of our car not working very well, right? And then our battery runs down more because it's having to start the car by itself instead of having the alternator to help out. So when you get help for those parts of your body to work better, I can tell you when I started helping my adrenals do better, my liver and my gallbladder were doing better too because they didn't have to work on keeping my body's emotions and processing through, and my kidneys didn't have to flush all so much because everything is starting to work better, and I'm feeling like I have energy again. I'm not perfect by any means, and I have to make sure I have my iron too because I can't take regular iron. That when you find the pattern of navigating through things, that your body feels better. And I can tell you that doing this work, doing the energy work that I did this summer, finding out what was really falling, not stepping up to what it should be because I've worn it down so much, right? That as I've been working and going through life, my body is feeling better. My digestion system is better. And I can tell you that as I was starting to get real puffy this summer and I started working through my body and navigating through a lot of my digestion, like my dad said on the spirit side, he says, Natasha, stand up straight because if your diaphragm, if you scrunch over on your diaphragm a lot, that's where lung cancer and colon cancers and stuff like that start up because you're not getting the full flow. You're not getting that full, what do you want to call it? The full, not everything's flowing energetically because there is the energy of the body. There is the energy of like the heartbeat and the blood going through. And then there's the energy of the body, the Reiki energy, if you've known what that means. It's that energy that you can feel when you touch something electrical, right? It has that sparkiness to it. That's the energy of our body too. And if we cut off that energy, it's called chi energy, that if we cut that off, many times we start getting stagnation here, right? We start not being able to process through our bodies, our nervous system, right? Our nervous system. So having a book like this can help, right? It can help. And as we're going through life, sorry, I touched something and there we go. I'm going to go down to exit full screen. There we go. So I can see any comments that are coming in. But as we're going through life and managing life, find the reason why. Okay, so let me go to, I'm going to look at, okay, I'm going to go to nails. She has a section called nails, right? So nails. Possible contributing factors. Now, mine have been chippy and fraying. Okay. Possible difficulty dealing with mundane everyday challenges, pesky, annoying, irritating beliefs, thoughts, and experiencing that lodge in and get stuck. A sense of stagnation or the feeling of being pushed against the wall. Recurring stress or worries, which feel like waste of time but take up too much of it. Upset, irritation with a close friend, family members, or partner. Feeling stressed out or overwhelmed as if someone is pushing past your protective boundaries. Well, I can tell you at work that I am dealing with mundane, everyday challenges because I work in elementary school. And so, these kids that are throwing chairs because they get the wrong problem, or these kids that are screaming and yelling because of the fact that somebody made too much noise. Everyday mundane things are challenging the people around me, and I can see why, and it saddens me. And yet, I can't fix everybody. And then I've also been dealing with those pesky, annoying, different thoughts that have been creeping out because of the fact that I'm an only child and not very many friends around, that sometimes life circles me around to see if, I love this scenario of how I'm supposed to interact with people around me. A lot of us light workers, don't have many friends. We have good acquaintances. We have great acquaintances. And I know, I have a feeling that, Veronica, if you're here watching, that I know that you love me and I'm so grateful for you. And yet I have a friend that is like, as a crow flies, I can walk not even 10 minutes that way. And I don't see her very often because of the fact that it is what it is. We have life. And we're going through life. And thank you, Veronica, for confirming that we have these things, and life circles me around to see, where do I find my importance? Do I find my importance on the outside of me, or do I find the importance with who I am? Am I being? Well, right now my nails are reminding me that those pesky Monday everyday challenges of acquaintances. Oh, and I wish that I could be out seeing the sunset. The sunset is beautiful tonight. Oh, the purple sky. But I'm glad I'm here with you guys. So knowing that we're going through these challenges, our bodies are going to tell us. Okay, so let's go to a lot of problems. A lot of people, the book just opened up to knees. Okay, so knees. Knee problems. Okay. Control, blame, judgment, anger, resentment, frustration, inflexibility. Inflexibility to moving forward. Control, blame, judgment, anger, resentment, frustration, inflexibility. Feeling stuck, difficulty dealing with a person, issues, or situation from the past. Confusion. Frozen desire, unfulfilled dreams. Unresolved family issues. This is about knees. Difficulty making decisions and keeping commitments. Fear of moving forward. Sorry, I have to take a peek at the sunset here. Fear of moving forward. A great need to know what will happen next. So the right knee. Issues with significant male in the life, father, brother, uncle, or so on. Difficulty moving forward in your career, limiting thinking, fear of failure, asking yourself, where am I flexible in my life? It's a good question to ask. Where am I flexible in my life? Left knee. Issues with mother, sister, aunt, significant female in your life. Holding on to sadness, hurt, loss from the past. Feeling like a victim. Consistent criticism, holding yourself back. Hmm. So there's a remedy that she writes in this book. Am I willing to let go of controlling, blaming, judging myself and others? Can I give myself permission to move forward with trust, love, and certainty? Ooh, the sunsets are beautiful. Mhm. Mm. Isn't that amazing how I'm in this moment with you, grateful to be in this moment, taking in this, and yet the synchronicity of this beautiful sunset, and I can see it through my window here, or my back window here, that going through life, that no matter if we're talking about a negative, something will be a balance. Something will be of balance. And as sunsets are about the west going south, or going west endings, right? So the west is about endings. What can we create new with the control, the blame, the judgment, and the resentment and anger? How can we find peace, more tranquility? Not being perfect by any means, but feeling more peaceful and tranquil with what's happening. So I hope that this helps you to get a synopsis of how our bodies can talk to us. Now, sometimes we have problems like oh, what do you want to call it? Where like the other last 2 summers ago, I fell off a stool broke out from underneath me, and I tweaked my ankle. Well, I was supposed to sit down and get some work done, work that I don't usually do, and that was technology. So sometimes there's a big reason why things are happening. And the sunset is beautiful tonight. Beautiful. I wish I could turn around and show you guys, but that would cause more problems because of my system that I have set up. Okay, so I'm going to pull some cards. And Veronica, since you are on, and if anybody else is on Instagram, if they would like to say, so I have the map that I could pull a card for the greater good. I have this deck here that gives great messages. I also have the angels from Doreen Virtue. I have the fairies from Doreen Virtue. I also have an animal card here, the animal deck, to see what animal wants to help us. And your favorite deck here, Veronica, is the Fae. The Fae. And it's from Brian Froud. Brian Froud. And so with that, those ones, I didn't see the comment about. So am I assuming that it's those ones, Veronica? Veronica likes the fairy ones. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Veronica. Okay. So I'm going to have oh my gosh, the purples and the pinks of the sunset. Yeah. But I love sunsets. If I bought a house and I could not see the sunsets, or the sunrises are important too, but for me, sunsets, that I would go nuts. I would really, truly go nuts. Woo! Okay, that one wanted to jump out. So I am, oh my, look at this one. Look at him. Look at him. Isn't that magnificent? Oh, and it goes along the sunset too. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's just amazing. Solstice. So 13. The eyes are so intent. The eyes are so intent. Look at the eyes. They're so intent. So intentful. And then look at where the star is. Down where his heart would be. Because that's our heart chakra there. Okay, so number 13. And I'm going to read this. So not 16, 13, 13, 13, 13. 13, 13. Solstice. Okay. So with that I have a little bit of reading to do, but I'm not going to read it all. Okay. Knowledge, consciousness, synthesis, spiritual empowerment. Solstice stands midway between the realm of singers and of manifest reality, the realms of Fae, this world and other realms and dimensions. The singers dwell in a cosmos without boundaries or differentiations, but we, the fairies, live in worlds where there is limitations to overcome, boundaries to identify and expand, which helps us to grow. When we don't know what we need or who to turn to, Solstice will help us if we ask. Ask the Oracle group member, Solstice said, allow the surface noise to fade. I am here waiting. So with this card, it was upright, right? So starter reading, Solstice is radiant, energizing, vitalizing. This presence in this reading often indicates that something new is being brought into being in our lives, partly through our own affections and partly through the help we are receiving from other realms. Miracles may take place. Movement into the light is occurring. This is a time for taking action, passing on our blessings and learning, and for serving given from the position of strength. So remember, this is about the new year. The new year. We have the ability to move forward. We have the ability to have a prosperous year. This is the year of 2022. It's a master number. So how can we work that? It is a time for taking action, passing on our blessings and learning, and for service given from a position of strength. So remember, we've had a lot of learning we've done. So move forward with knowing that inner strength. That inner strength. Okay, so I'm going to read the card upside down here. Okay. When the light is spinning, empowerment of the solstice is valid. We need to remember that this singer is there to help with seemingly lost cause and forlorn hopes. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. Okay, let me reread that. So if a card is upside down, we're struggling. So I just want to read the card because there's some of us that are struggling. Okay. So when the light and the spiritual empowerment of the solstice is veiled, we need to remember that this singer is here or is there to help with seemingly lost cause and forlorn hopes. When you do not even know what to ask for his help and guidance, and then do the best you can for yourself. So remember, action is teamwork. Action is teamwork. I am not doing the work that I'm doing alone. I need my guides, my angels. Yet, like this last Saturday when I asked, "What am I supposed to do?" and the thing that popped in my head was reorganize my closet and a section that I walk through to get through to my spiritual room. Which every time I walked through it, I was going to get into spirituality. So what did I do? I cleaned my closet. Now I can go through those places, right? So if you ask the questions, your team will help you. Yet you have to do the work. It's called communion. It's called communion. So again, it's about visualizing. It's about the presence of knowing that you do have a team, but you have to do the work too. Blessings to you in this journey, and know that no matter where you're at in your life, that this moment too shall pass. And it's all about perception and reality, because many times, if we're thinking the negative, what are we pulling to us? Like I had someone that I was talking to that she kept losing power. She kept losing power. And I go, so power is about thinking, right? Power is about thinking. So if you keep losing your power, what were you thinking when you lost power? Were you stressed out, negative, and your power went out? And then when you started thinking more positive again, getting help, figuring things out, your power came back on. So think about what is happening in your life to help you out. If you need any help, guess who knows? I have an understanding about life. And I love to help people get through life. Because sometimes, like I just did a meditation for someone, and there's things that she does great in her meditations. She does a lot in meditations, but like she said, she goes, there's a perspective that you're giving me that's like a full circle. It's a 360. So with that, blessings to you on your journey. If you need to get a hold of me for an appointment, you can reach me at angelicclarifications.com. And remember, please, that I am here on Mondays at 4 Pacific time with Regan Forston, who we do the Dance of the Soul. And like we just talked about, what did we talk about on Monday? That was, yeah, there's a lot that's happened in between now and then. It was a good show, though. I really enjoyed it. Well, that's bad. I can't remember what I did on Monday. We talked about, well, in the last week, we've talked about where souls go. And then, And then, so on Mondays, I'm with Regan Forston. Sorry about that. Wow. Like I said, I kind of had a headache today. So I kind of get discombobulated in my brain when I have to remember things. Not a blonde at all, but when you have headaches, your thinking is not totally straight in remembering. Okay. And then here on Wednesdays at 4 Pacific time, and I'm on the same platforms, except for on Wednesdays, I'm on Instagram, unless I have a guest. And I am hoping that my inspirational quotes posted on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on MeWe and LinkedIn can be supportive for you. Check out my YouTube page if you can. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube page. Subscribe to my YouTube page if you have not already. And like or subscribe to whatever page you're on. Blessings to you on your journey, and know that you are doing an amazing job with what's in front of you and what you know. Blessings. Talk to you on Monday. Bye now.